Okay, so many are requesting that I do a reaction on the last BTS dinner because there are a lot of armies and some haters, many haters that are saying that the three biggest hits globally of BTS on a sales level, that is, those are Dynamite, Butter, and Permission to Dance, are actually the reasons they decided to go on a break. Like it actually destroyed them rather than push them forward, and that they hate those three songs. So I'm not inclined to reinterpret anything that BTS says, primarily because I'm not BTS. So I'm just, whatever it is that they said is what I will take. And they also very clearly stated in this dinner to take their word for it. Okay, so let's just do, I'm not gonna do a reaction in the entire thing because it's just so long. So I'll just go through like some of the more important points. Okay, let's go.
들이 너무 궁금해하셔가지고 사실 이제 뭐 돌려 말을 안 하고요. 이제 딱 팩트만 얘기하자면 저희는 사실 시즌 1은 이제 온까지
그렇지 원래는
오케이.
오였지.
온까지였고요. 오늘 하고 나서 원래 대규모 월드 투어를 보려고 했었죠. 모든 대륙을 다 가서 1년 동안 뭐 어디 인도도 가고 우리가 못 갔던 호주도 가고
바르셀로나.
예, 뭐 바르셀로나도 가고 사실
So this was going to be their last promotion, is what they're saying.
아시다시피 이제 온 음악 방송 하면서 코비드가
And then
나오면서
during the promotion, COVID broke, and they had to cancel their
그러면 이제
tour.
그때 저희가 이제 불을 땄었잖아요.
So he was very clearly stating that this was going to be their last promotion for a while, because they were going to start. Apparently, later on, we will learn that they were going to start doing individual activities. So even before the song even landed on their lap, they already knew that this is something that they wanted to do. They wanted to explore their artistry, grow as artists individually, and then come together again. So that's before the song even came out. So it was clear it wasn't because of the song, it's because they wanted to grow as artists. So don't reinvent what they said. Okay, he said up to On. The On was going to be the last one.
몇 달 동안 되게 힘들었었고 그 과정에서 저희가 돌파구로 삼았던 게 우리가 안 했던 그런 싱글 플레이나 이런 걸 해보면서 어떤 뭐 차트에서도 그렇고 우리가 화제성으로도 그렇고 좀 확실한 임팩트를 한번 내보자 해서 이제 다이너마이트, 뭐 버터, 뭐 이제 사람들이 언급을 안 하는데 라이프 고즈온도 있었고
약간 걔는 약간
This part was a little. So they said like they had to take a break. It seems that he's saying like they were at this point like freestyling, just like winging it at this stage. And so they came out with a single that was a breakthrough that they did, and it turned out the single sort of just went through the roof in terms of sales and the charts and all of that stuff. And this one is actually a little painful for me when they said that Life Goes On actually got shoved on the back, because apparently it was they're gonna say after this that it's because it was released between two like huge hits. But yeah, so that's because it's such a great song. Life Goes On. I think I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. Life Goes On is one of those songs that is so basic that you can actually recognize the beauty of the melody and the beat, and of course the lyrics. And this is the one song I feel like it would, like, way into the future, it will still be revived, reinterpreted, because it's so basic that there's so much you can do about the song. Many of their songs are actually filled with so many layers, hundreds and hundreds of layers of beats, effects, instruments. But here they kept it basic, that you can actually hear the beauty of the song. And I think that's what makes the entire album so beautiful. I would say like it's one of the best, because they stayed with the basics. They didn't like put a lot of whatever in it. They just remained. They stayed with the basics. Basic beat, not basic in terms of the sound, but I mean not a lot of layers in the beat and the instruments. So you can actually hear the actual melody, actual beat, and actually concentrate on the song. So I'm also sad that it is usually showed in the back. So I worked so hard on that song.
걔는 왜
See, yeah, because it's between Butter and Dynamite.
맞아, 퍼포먼스가 없어가지고
뮤직비디오 되게 심심하고 그러니까.
뮤직비디오 여기서 찍었잖아요.
BTS 퍼포먼스가 있어야 되나?
우리 무조건 해야 돼. 안 하면 안 돼.
근데 우린 댄스 가수야.
댄스.
Okay, so then he's gonna go into.
이게 춤추고 있는 거 봐봐. 우린 댄스 가수요.
뭐 어쨌든 그런 상황이 있었지 않습니까, 여러분들? 네.
안 그래도 이 이야기를 참 너무 2년 동안 못 했었어가지고.
답답해져. 솔직히.
엄청 남다르지. 이걸 이야기할 수도 없고. 그리고 우리가 어떠한 선택들을 했을 때 이제 우리가 남아있지 않은 상황들이 분명히 있었는데 불구하고 그 약간의 미련들. 아 그래미는 그래도 노미네이트가 됐는데 한번 보자. 안 되니까 또 한 번만
Okay,
더
so
해보고 이런 과정에
so
솔직히 좀 지쳤던 것
so everyone is saying that um that BTS is so like hungry for recognition and awards because they once mentioned in the past like we want to win the Grammys. One, everyone says like huge dreams, right? Like I would like to go to Mars. I actually applied in NASA. It doesn't mean like it's the only thing that you're gonna go for towards. But anyway, this specific drive towards winning the Grammy was a reaction. So Dynamite was a reaction towards the shutdown because they didn't know what to do. They got surprisingly they got nominated and it was like okay let's try again just because it's like okay let's just perform because we couldn't go on tour. At this stage, what he's saying is that they're just freestyling it. Just like whatever is laid out in front of us, let's just do it because there's not much we can do. Okay.
것도 엄청 많았던 거야. 원래 우리의
And then
플랜이었어.
here,
코비드 끝나고 빵 출발한 건데 물론
okay, so
결과론적이긴
he
하지만
clearly
그거
stated that had they proceeded with their original plan, which was to take, because during COVID, if had they done the world tour, they would by this time by the middle of COVID, during that era, they would have been done. They would have been pursuing their individual projects, and by this time, like this actual time, they would already be done with their individual projects, and then they can come together and tour again because everything is open again. So it seems like also there was a plan to just ditch the tour, do their individual activities, and then come back. But so he's saying, like, on hindsight, had we proceeded with those plans, then maybe by now we would be back together again when everything is normal, and then we can tour again. So all of this are proof that their intention of going on a break has already been there even before they released Dynamite, Butter, and Permission to Dance.
것들 때문에 덕분에 다이너마이트랑 포크가 있었던 건 또 팩트고
맞아. 참 이 시기가
어떠한 걸 선택을 한 거에 대해서 이제 후회를 안 해야 되는데
전 뭐 어쨌든 반응들 보고 이제 주변에서 듣고 하니까 뭐 되게 막 솔직히 그때 되게 답답하기도 하고 되게 억울하기도 하고 좀 그런 게 많았었죠 사실.
완벽한 플랜을 준비해가지고
Okay, so that part that when RM said that it was frustrating how other people were reacting towards what they had done, it's not so if you interpret what he said, he was reacting to what Suga said, and what Suga was talking about was their decision to just try again for another Grammy when they didn't win with Dynamite. They said let's just try again, and it seems that so this is the context of their conversation. So Suga was saying that like okay let's just try for the Grammys because we were nominated and there's nothing much we can do. We can't go on a tour right now because everything is shut down. So why don't we just try again for the Grammys? And then RM said, so it's a little frustrating how people was reacting to us. So I think he did know that some people were saying like they sold out and all of those things when in fact they were just trying to get by. They didn't know they had a clear plan on when the tour was going to do their career path. They were going to do individual activities and then come together again. And all of those were blown away. It was destroyed by COVID. I think that was he was talking about if you listen to their conversation contextually. Okay, so I will, as I've said, I'm not inclined to reinterpret everything, but that is the chronological order of their conversation. Okay.
있는 것도 아니고 우리도 상황에 따라 항상 바뀌어야 되니까
우리 플랜이 우리가 몇 번 빠그러졌어요 지금.
그렇지
사실 6번 넘게 빠그러졌어.
1년에만 해도 막 3-4번씩 빠그러지는데 우리가 9년 동안 활동했던 걸 쭉 두더라고요. 사실 우리 플랜대로 된 거 별로 없어. 다 어쩌다 보니 뭐 좀 더 하다 보니 욕심 내다 보니 이랬던 거 훨씬 많지.
뭔가를 함부로 얘기하기에는
Okay, so that's another important point that Suga was saying. They weren't going for all of these achievements. They just tried to do what they were supposed to do and somehow achieved more. So they were just like, these are the things that we need to do. Let's just give it our best shot, do everything that we can, and somehow they were achieving more. So all of those people all of those haters that keep on saying they're so concerned about numbers, they're concerned about sales, they're concerned about going to number one, they were just like, okay, let's just see if we get there. And they got there. So they weren't obsessed over the numbers. They were just doing their best, and somehow they ended up achieving more. Okay? All right, next.
아무튼 뭐 약간 진지하게 이 얘기를 꺼내기는 했는데 뭐 아무튼 숙소 얘기도 해야 되잖아요. 우리가 지금 숙소에 와 있으니까.
왜 숙소에서 이렇게 밥을 먹고 있는지도 설명을 드려야지.
어쨌든 숙소가 지금 계약 만료가 됐습니다.
되게 정들었는데
달라졌는데 이제 제 생각에
The group BTS was within my grasp
다이너마이트 전 온 다이너마이트까지는
until On and Dynamite. So during Dynamite, he was still okay. He felt like they were still like on track as a group. So if it was the 3 English singles, then that would have started with Dynamite. But he's saying here very, very clearly, was within my grasp until On and Dynamite. Okay? But after Butter and Permission to Dance, I didn't know what kind of group we were anymore. So this is another important part in what he was saying.
뭔가 어떤 얘기를 하고 어떤 메시지를 던지느냐가 되게 중요한 사람이고 제가 살아가는 의미인데 그런 게 없어진 것 같은 거죠, 사실은. 네, 그래서 무슨 얘기를 해야 될지.
So he's saying that the message is very important for him. So he doesn't just go on and write songs so that it could be a banger or it could be a catchphrase or it could be most importantly, he wants to make sure that they are saying something substantial. That's who he is as a singer. The actual message of the song is very important for him. And that's why it sort of reinforced their need to grow as individuals, because with Butter and with Permission to Dance, there's just, he doesn't, what are we telling now? Like, what's our story? What is it that we're trying to communicate? This is just, it just made me respect him more as an artist. All of them. And this, you see, it was important for him that they were different from other groups. And then here he's communicating, in this part, he's communicating that for them to continue towards going for a substantial message, they need to grow as artists. But because it's so fast-paced, that K-pop is so fast-paced, they don't know where to grow. They don't have the time to nurture themselves as artists anymore.
옛날에는 이런 것들을 병행할 수 있었는데 이제는 10년을 사실 이렇게 방탄소년단을 하다 보니까 이거를 같이 어떤 물리적인 스케줄을 하면서 내가 숙성이 안 되는 거예요.
So if you actually digest what he's saying, it is actually the nature of K-pop that is so fast-paced that they need to keep on moving, and it's just like they're swinging towards the direction of where they're being thrown at. That's the reason they decided to take some time off individual activities, curb, not like completely take a time off, but curb some in the time of their group activities so that they can do individual activities, because it's the only way that they could actually grow and get to know themselves as artists, and it's the only way they can become BTS again, because of the fast-paced life as a K-pop idol. The direction that they were taking, it's not clear anymore. They've been rerouted so many times that they don't know if this is still the right path. And the only way they could actually get in to make sure that they're still in the right path is if they actually explore the area themselves as individuals. So that's what he said. Like, the problem with K-pop, he's saying, is that, so remember where he came from. He's saying that as BTS, it is important for them to know that they are saying something in their songs. But the problem is that for them to keep on saying something in their songs, they need to grow as artists, but K-pop is too fast-paced for them to actually grow as artists. I do not see him saying that the 3 singles were actually the reasons that they've reached that point in their decision, in their career, to decide to lessen their individual activities so that they can do, in the group activities so that they can do individual activities. Yeah, so this is another part, because he's saying that he feels like because he has they're at the top. They're in
정신을
their
차리고
best,
내가 어떤
maybe
사람이고
as
정신 건강이
artists,
어떤 팀이고
the
내가 이거
condition
왜
of their bodies and also their popularity. This is when they should be taking advantage of their fame and actually communicate something substantial. But they don't know who they are anymore, so they don't know what to say.
그리고 우리가 앞으로 어떻게 나아가야
So
될지
he doesn't know the path that
계속
they were going to
머릿속에
take.
인식하고 인터뷰를 하고 가사를 쓰고 그래야 되는데 언젠가부턴가 모르겠어. 나도 우리 팀이 뭔지 앞으로 어떻게
See,
해야
for me
될지
it was a
전혀
big deal
모르겠다라는
that
게
we
컸어,
don't
저는.
know.
나는 내가 앞으로 우리 팀이 어디로 나가야 될지를 전혀 모르겠다. 그래서 언젠가부턴가 사실 랩 번안하는 기계가 되고 영어 열심히 하고 이러면은 내 역할은 이 팀에서 끝난 거고 여기 옆에 퍼포먼스 잘하는 친구들이 있으니까 뭐 나는 좀 적당히 묻어가고.
And this is another part
식으로
that's
살다
important
보니까
because
내
here he's going to emphasize, had they decided to just push through with everything, like just, okay, let's just keep on making music, let's just go and be BTS, that they would still enjoy it, he's saying. See, that they would still be happy and they would still
이
enjoy
팀은
each other's company
돌아가는데
and they would still be
제가
okay.
여기서 더 벗어나지를 못하는 느낌이 많이 들어서
So it's
그래서
more
내가
like an
이거를 잠깐
internal
좀
struggle.
이렇게
It has
떨쳐내고
nothing to do with
내가
what they
혼자
have done as a
나를
group.
가만히
It was more
두고
an internal
어떤
struggle.
식으로 해야 되는지 생각을 충분히 한 다음에 다시 돌아오고 싶은데 근데 그렇게 놔두지를 않는 거예요 사실. 그래서 그거를 연장을 계속했어 작년부터. 그래 이것만 끝나면. 그래,
See,
이것만 끝나면.
so he's
그래,
saying that
이것만 끝나면.
he's saying that they wanted to take a break, but they kept on postponing it. Okay, maybe next year, maybe next year, maybe next year. So even before Dynamite, Butter, and Permission to Dance, that was already their plan, that they wanted to like take a break individually. Okay.
도저히 그게 안 되고 사람들은 지치고 이러니까 근데 여전히 팀이랑 같이 안무 연습 열심히 하고 또 재밌게 하면 또 재밌을 것 같아. 지금도 팬들을 생각하고 막 그런 걸 생각하면 안무를 해서 막 다시 너무 좋은 모습을 보여주고 싶고 이 대학 축제 영상도 맨날 올라오잖아. 그런 거 보면서 막 와 그래 우리도 지금 하면 사람들이 막 봐주고 그럴 텐데 근데 지금 방향성을 잃었고 사실 지금 멈춰서 뭔가
So
내가
he
생각을
knows that even if they just continue on their paths, Army would love them. That they would like Army would be happy with whatever it is that we give them. But he's not happy with just give them something good. He can't settle for that. Good is not enough for him. It has to be the best. They have to serve, they have to deliver a certain message. They need to use their fame, they need to use their influence for something substantial or he's not satisfied. Okay.
해서 다시 좀 돌아오고 싶은데 내가 이런 걸 얘기하면 되게
And this is one of the saddest part of this dinner when he said that this decision makes them feel like they're letting down armies because they're not. But because army's so used to having OT7, all the 7 of them together, just saying that we kind of want to break, we kind of want to do individual activities makes them feel so guilty. It just shows you just how much they love armies.
근데 나는 그냥 그렇게 생각하지
And
않는
also V
팬들이
offers a really good insight in here.
왜냐면은 우리의
그건
진정성을
맞지.
더 많이
그건
알고
맞지. 그건 맞지.
우리가 어떤 음악을 하고 우리가 어떤 길을 가든 응원해주는 사람들이 저는 거의 전 90%라고 생각해요.
어떤 식으로든 사실 우리는 팬들
This is an important part. Listen to what Jimin is going to say.
가수로 남고 싶냐. 지금에 와서
I think now finally we've come to think about
가수로 각자의 어떠한
what kind of artists we each want to be remembered as to our fans. It has absolutely nothing to do with sales. It has nothing to do with all of that. They know that if they keep on doing what they're doing, armies are going to love them and they will keep on. And for as long as they've got armies behind them, for as long as they've got army behind them, then they will be fine. They will become successful. But it's not enough anymore. They actually need to be somebody in a substantial way. So they want to discover what kind of artists they each want to be remembered by their fans. Very, very important.
돼서 지금 좀 힘든 시간을 겪고 있는 것 같아. 이제 정체성을 이제서
See, trying to find their identity.
그래서 좀 지치는 게 있고 시간이 조금 걸리는 게 아닌가. 사실 팬들도 우리를 알고 우리도 팬들을 알고 이제 그분들한테 하고 싶은 말도 많고 전하고 싶은 것도 많은데 매사 솔직할 수가 없잖아요. 우리가
없지.
너무 편하게 너무 그렇게 하고 싶은데 그게 너무 힘들어서 그동안 지친 것들이 있었던 것 같고 이제서야 조금씩 풀어 나가려고.
So
노력을
here,
하고 있는
this
것
part,
같아요.
he was talking about, um, they were trying to, they wanted to tell the armies what they were going through at that time, but they can't. Not all the time. He didn't say why. He didn't say specifically why. So I'm just going to leave it at that. People are going to speculate. Is it people have been speculating? Is it because they're being told by the agency not to say it? Is it because some of the members are, or so whatever? I don't know. Then there are some more positive ones, like maybe because they don't want to burden the armies for what they were going through. But as I've said, he did not specifically state why they can't be honest all the time, or not really honest, but they can't be open all the time. So I'm not going to speculate. But he's saying that they've sort of been they've been trying to figure things out individually. It's been sad, it's been painful, it's been a slow process, but they can't. But they're trying to figure it out. And he's saying at the end of it, he's going to say, can
지쳤다고
you
말하는
just,
것 자체가
yeah, it feels so wrong to even say
되게
that they're exhausted, right?
죄 짓는 것
So,
아니,
and
괴로웠던
then
게
here is another thing.
그러니까 할 말이 있어.
안 나와 그러니까.
억지로
할 말이 없어 진짜. 그러니까 내가 느끼고 내가 이야기하고 싶은 걸 이야기를 해야 되는데 그냥 억지로
See
짜내고 있는
that
거야.
he said that when they're trying to write lyrics, nothing is coming out anymore. Like they just want something substantial to come out, something substantial to say, but nothing is coming out anymore. So he's trying to squeeze it. So this is creative exhaustion, nothing else.
계속 어쨌든 누군가를 만족시켜주고 누군가가 이걸 들어줘야 되니까 그러니까 그게 너무 괴로운데 그 일 자체가 그런 거니까 나는 한 번도 내가 2013년 때부터 작업을 하면서 한 번도 너무 재밌다라면서 작업을 해본 적이 없어요. 그냥 항상 괴로웠고 항상 써내는데 힘들었고 쥐어 짜냈고 근데 지금 쥐어 짜는 거랑 8년 전, 7년 전 쥐어 짜는 거랑 너무 달라. 그때는 하고 싶었던 말이
Okay.
있는데
So he's saying that it has always been difficult. Like the writing process has always been difficult because aside from your emotions, you do need to think about their listeners. But what he's saying is that the difference now is that back then he had a lot of things to say, but he didn't have the skills. Now he has the skills to say them, but he has nothing to say. Not only is it such an aha moment for a lot of people, it's also such an intelligent assessment of their emotions. Because after all of these years, they've garnered all the experience and stuff. They have the skills now, they have the resources, they have the infrastructure to do anything that they want. But deep down, there's nothing there. So the root of all these things that they're trying to do is gone.
쥐어 짜낸 느낌이었고 지금은 진짜 할 말이 없어. 무슨 말 해야 될지 모르겠어.
그러니까 그 할 말을 만들어낼 시간을
There's no time to
주는
think of the
느낌이
message to
너무
say.
있어서. 그리고 이제 저는
Okay,
인터뷰
so I'm going to end this actually here because I think the main subject, the main question that you guys asked me is whether it was really Butter and Dynamite and Permission to Dance that actually broke them apart as individuals and that pushed them to do individual activities and less of their group activities. So this bit I think was a very, very clear indication that it was not the three English singles. It was just the journey that they were taking, and they were actually, even before the three singles came about, they were ready to do their individual activities, but it was halted because they couldn't pursue their they couldn't do the world tour, which was supposed to be their big tour before they do individual activities. So I hope that helps. As I've said, I'm not inclined to reinterpret whatever it is that they're saying. I'm sort of just going by everything that they're saying in the context of their conversation. Hope that helps.